Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So my ring light just decided to stop working on me out of the blue today, so I'm sitting in front of my window trying to use the natural light, but it's not sunny at all because it's actually been snowing all day. So hopefully the lighting's okay. And I was actually planning on doing a couple videos today because it's a snow day, but now I have no lighting, but I think this is okay. I think we're doing okay. So anyway, I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and it's just a couple tips on how to make your home hairstyling business seem more professional even though you work at home, just because I feel like there's such a stigma attached to kitchen stylists or any hairstylist or hair braider who works out of their house. I feel like a lot of times we're automatically expected to be unprofessional, or the quality of work isn't expected to be as good as if you went out to a salon, and I really don't understand, just because I feel like it's the same thing as going to somebody who rents out a suite or rents out a room, you know what I mean? I realize that we have this stigma because there are a lot of hairstylists who I guess just aren't representing the rest of us very well and ruining the name for us, if that makes sense. So anyway, these are my tips on how to have a professional hair business even though you work in your house. So the first tip is, even though you work outside of your house, you want to kind of break out of that I'm at home mentality. Don't get too comfortable, basically, is what I'm saying. Remember, you are having paying clients come into your house, so you want them to come to a clean environment. So make sure your house is clean, make sure it's presentable. Obviously, yes, it's a home, so it's not going to be like a business setting, but you know, if you do work in your kitchen, make sure there's no dishes in the sink. Make sure there's not a bunch of like half-eaten food on the table, or you know, if you're in your living room or whatever, just make sure the environment is clean, like as if you had house guests coming over. Like, you never want a client to come over and you're like, oh, hold on, let me just move this out the way, let me just wash this really quick. Like, no, make sure that the place is already set and presentable before your client even gets there. Also, although it's your house, you don't want your clients to be constantly reminded that they're in your house, so make sure that it's quiet or just not chaotic. Because I know a huge complaint that clients have with home stylists is sometimes there are other people in the house who are just being loud in and out of the room where you're working. There's kids running all over the place. And obviously if you have kids, kids are going to be kids, but at least put in the effort to make sure that it's established in your household that this is the area where I'm working and people know to stay out of there. Like me, for example, I don't live by myself. I live with my family, but I have a room in our basement downstairs, or I have an area that's set aside for where I do hair. So when I have clients over, people know to not usually be coming up and down the stairs when they know I'm going to be working. Like, they know, we have that understanding. I mean, I'm not always alone because my dad works from home too, and he works where I work too, like in the same area, but you know, he does his thing, I do my thing. But it's not like I'm having people coming up and down the stairs just coming to hang out and talk and be loud. Like, there's an understanding that I'm working, so make sure everybody in your house has an understanding that this is your business that you're running, so they need to respect that and stay away from that area while you have clients over. Obviously, if you're working in a kitchen or someplace more public, like in my old house, I used to work in my actual kitchen, so obviously I couldn't just tell everyone don't come in the kitchen for hours, but at least they're just in and out and not like, you know, just, you don't want clients to constantly feel like they're in the way. That's the thing. You don't want your clients to feel like they're in the middle of chaos or just a lot going on. It's not comfortable, and it makes them feel uneasy. I know me, I would feel uneasy if I'm sitting getting my hair done and people are constantly walking around me, passing this, talking about that, heating up this, refrigerating that. Like, it's a lot. So just make sure there's that understanding. So yeah, so just basically make sure that you have some area in your home set aside that's out of the way, or as out of the way as possible, that's quiet and clean. And along the lines of staying out of the way or having an area that's out of the way and not having too much chaos going on, that also applies if you have pets. I know that a lot of pet owners, they love their pets, they consider their dogs and cats and hamsters and whoever family, but the truth is some clients, not all, but a lot of clients are not comfortable if you just have your dog just roaming around. I've heard a lot of complaints when people have gone to houses and the whole time the dog was at their foot or jumping on their lap, or the cat was just like passing over, like walking on the counter or whatever. You have to understand that not everybody's that comfortable with animals. Keep them, like, I'm not saying don't have pets, but keep them somewhere else, like in a different room with their food and their litter box or whatever it is. And just, again, like if you go to a salon, there won't be animals walking around. So in the same sense, when you have clients coming over to sit and relax and get their hair done, they don't want to be worried about some animal walking around them either. A lot of times when I have first-time clients booking with me, a lot of times somewhere in the conversation, they'll be like, oh, by the way, do you have pets? The way they ask, you can tell that it would be a deal breaker if you do. Because also some people are just allergic. Some people are just deathly afraid of animals. or certain animals, and some people just don't like it, like whether they're germaphobes and they think animals are dirty or whatever the case is. You can't have animals walking around. Like, it's just not comfortable, okay? Yes, a lot of clients are gonna love the fact that you have a dog that they can play with while they're getting their hair done, but the truth is they do get in the way, and not everyone's comfortable with that, and you can't assume that they're going to be comfortable with that. But I know a lot of times when people are so close with their pets, they don't realize that there's a difference between pets and people. But when it comes to a business and being professional, I'm sorry guys, but the pets are going to have to go somewhere else. Unless you know for a fact that your client will enjoy the company of your pet, but truthfully, they should be kept out of the way. So next, along with that, even though it's your home, you still have to dress presentable. Imagine going to someone's house and they greet you in their pajamas. Because it's their house, it's gonna look like they just rolled out of bed and ran to the door, like they weren't even expecting you to be there or something. Still get up, still get dressed, put yourself together, wash your face, get the crust out of your eyes, you know what I mean? Like, still put on an outfit as if you're going to work. You don't have to be dressed from head to toe, like shoes, jewelry, all that stuff, but put actual clothes on. Don't stay in your pajamas. Even if they're different pajamas, it's going to look like you just woke up and that's what you were wearing all night, and that does not look professional at all. Make sure your clothes are well kept. Like, don't wear anything that's too worn. Just don't look lazy. Look like you want to work. Don't be like, okay, I'm home, so I'm going to wear my home clothes. Because at this moment, this isn't your home. It's your business. Yes, you're establishing it inside your house. But at this point, while you're working, you need to get out of that mentality that you're at home. Right now, you are at work. You just work at home. But get yourself together. Hold on one second. Okay, so another complaint that I hear about a lot when I'm either hearing about people talking about going to home stylists, or I watch a lot of story times when people talk about their not so great experiences. And this is a big one. It's when your time as a client is not respected. So I feel like a lot of times the home stylists, they just assume that, okay, this is my house, so you can't come in until I'm ready for you, which is understandable to an extent. But if your client is like 5 minutes earlier to their appointment, don't tell them to sit outside in their car. I've heard, well, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I've heard a story, or a couple stories actually, but this one in particular, where someone came early, and I guess the community the stylist was living in, you had to park in a certain place and then walk up to the house, and it was like a bit of a walk because it was a gated community, so there weren't driveways, where something like that. But anyway, the client came to her house and she was early, and the stylist told her to go back, like all the way back to her car and wait for her. And in the story time, the stylist was even saying, like, I wasn't doing anything, but it wasn't her appointment time, so I just didn't want her to come in my house. It's like, don't get so self-righteous and be like, this is my house, so you gotta stay out there in the cold and wait or whatever. Like, obviously, if they come too early, they come too early, but if it's a few minutes and you're not doing it, like, I don't know, that bothers me. I feel like it just comes out a little too self-righteous. If your client comes early, at least for me, if a client comes too early and I'm not ready for them, I still let them in, but I just say, sorry, you're early, if you won't mind just like sitting on the couch while I get things together. But to actually be like, go out to your car or wait outside, like, that just, I don't know, that just comes across really rude to me. I don't know, that just doesn't sit well with me when I hear stylists talking like that. It's like, get over yourself, you know what I mean? Let them in the house. Sorry, I don't know, I must be allergic to this lash glue or something. I don't know why. I've never had this type of reaction before, but I am so itchy. I might take these lashes off. Whew. But yeah, you always want to be ready before your appointment time. So if you have a 10 o'clock appointment and your client is there at 9:50, you honestly should have already been ready. Like, if you can't take them that second, it's whatever, but let them in the house. I can understand if they're a whole hour early, that's different. But to be like, you can't come in until your appointment time and no earlier, and make them actually turn around and go back. Like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it, but that's just crazy to me. That's ridiculous. Let them in the house. Like, get over yourself. Like, yes, it's your house, but when your client is there, it's your place of business. So you separate that. Separate that. That's my main thing with all these tips, is just that you got to separate the fact that it is your house, because yes, it is, but to an extent, you got to forget that, because it's more your business than your home. So you got to treat them differently than just a friend who came over, or like some unwanted visitor. Because a lot of times these things do come across like you just don't want them in your house. Then why are you working out of your house? So yeah, so in that same sense, be on time, be prepared. Like I was saying before, make sure your place is clean, make sure it's presentable. All this needs to be done before your client gets there. Don't tell them to wait outside, because if they had actually gone to an actual business place, they can just walk right in. You know what I mean? So excuse them for having the same mentality that when they get there, they can come in. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is, you want to limit your breaks. Just because you're home, I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but everything is just because you're home. Don't forget this, don't forget that. But that's the main thing. So when you're home and your client is there, your focus is on them. So you can't stop to switch the laundry from the washer to the dryer. You can't stop to go and season your meat or thaw out your meat in the sink. You can't stop to, I don't know, go in the next room and make a phone call or something. Don't mix your housework into the time that you're spending with your client. Like, your client, no matter how much they might enjoy getting their hair done, at the end of the day, they want to be in and out. And even if your service takes long, they're still expecting to be out at a certain time. So don't ever extend your client's time in your chair just because you were doing other things that had nothing to do with them. When your client is there, your focus is on that client. And then finally, do good work. And this should go without saying, but like I said, a lot of times people don't like these home stylists because they say that their work isn't as good. Like, they're not putting time or effort into the styles that they're providing. They're just doing whatever they have to get you out of the chair because they're not working for anybody. Nobody's going to be on their back being like, oh, do that better. You're giving the salon a bad name. Like, it's none of that. So sometimes they get lazy and they just do whatever and send them on their way. I mean, granted, a lot of times these stylists don't know they're not doing good work because they're working by themselves and never like actually worked with another stylist or whatever the case is. It could be anything. But the point is, make sure your work is up to par. Make sure you're putting effort into the styles you're providing. If you're just not there yet, then so be it. You know, it's always a learning experience, you know. But don't get lazy. Put effort. Do the best that you honestly can. So basically that's it for all these tips. Like, I'm basically just trying to break this stigma that home stylists just aren't real stylists or things like that. But we still are, but I definitely see where a lot of clients are coming from, where they're saying, I don't like these home stylists, they don't take their work seriously, they don't do this, they don't do that. Because nowadays I do feel like there are a lot of stylists who let the comfort of working at home get to them, and it shows in their work, and it shouldn't be that way. So like I said over and over, the main thing is you gotta separate the fact that you are home. Yes, it's your physical house, but right now it's your business. Your client comes first, your client is your focus. Make sure everything is all about that client. Make sure they're comfortable, make sure they're getting the service that they want, make sure they're satisfied, make sure they're happy. Your client is your focus. The fact that you're home is just a bonus for you, but it's not where your mindset should be. So that's it for this video. I always want to address this just because, I don't know, I guess I can make the world of hairstyles a better and more professional place one video at a time. I don't know. I just, like I said, I've been seeing a lot of complaints. I just want to address it. So that's my 2 cents. So I hope that was helpful to somebody. And if anybody out there has more to add to this, feel free to add it in the comments. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.